we need to write about this. And I was like, you know what? None of this falls. I'm dead. So we stepped probably about 3 feet away in the courtyard. And we started our conversation again. And all of a sudden I hear, and I turn around and now you got to remember, 30 stories up, about 2-foot section of snow and ice had fallen off the roof. Like where we had just been standing. No, the story only gets better. So, an hour later, I'm back outside with the J-Rock band telling them the story. Now, if this is the edge of the canopy, we had this canopy area, the hedge, so and stuff like that. I'm coming, and here's the side of the building. I'm coming around, telling the story, and I said, yeah, so that's what happened. BAM! I am literally, here's where I'm standing, here's the canopy, here. My butt is here. Here. A 6.5-foot chunk of ice and snow fell 30 stories right behind me. The entire band does this. And I said, I could feel the ground shake when it hit. And I was like, I didn't want to look up. How close was that? and the translator goes, and I turned around and there was snow on the back of my shoes where it didn't push out. I was like, and literally, and here's the sad part of the story. A week later, in D.C., outside of one of the buildings, it was only a 20-story, a 3-foot chunk of ice and snow fell off the top of the building and hit a maintenance worker and killed him dead. So you can only imagine, and this is probably a big guy, so you can only imagine what a 6-foot, life is a very fragile thing. Thank goodness I still have mine. Another question. Yes.
So, is there a favorite character that you have played?
Not so much favorite. And I've often said this, the character that I have the closest connection to. Because I played a lot of characters that I love. I certainly Conquer and Trinity Blood, Kate Burnham, Spitting Doom, people like that. But probably the characters that mean to me that I played is I did a show for Peacemaker. And I love Peacemaker. And I'm a big fan of the Japanese figure Keisuke Yamanami. In the Shinsengumi, there were 2 first lieutenants. One was Hijikata, one was Yamanami. Hijikata was always referred to in history as the demon spirit, and Yamanami was always referred to as the Buddha spirit. Historically, Keisuke Yamanami was eventually made to kill himself by Shinsengumi because he refused to draw a sword. There were things that he did not agree with, could not condone. They set up their headquarters in a temple, and there were things that were being done, and violence and stuff like that he couldn't condone. And he became a man who felt peace and compassion and kindness were a better way to live life than to enter violence, and was eventually made by the Shinsengumi to kill himself for that. And he is the archetype in stories and films with the samurai who will not draw his sword, the sheriff who will not draw his gun. All of those are somewhat based on that historical figure from Japan. And, again, being the kind of person that I am and that I try to be in my life, certainly I'm always thinking of someone who's going to stand that, strong enough for their principles that they're willing to give up their own life. That's certainly, very encouraging to convictions. And so I was asked to audition for Peacemaker, and they said, oh, we have this character we want you to audition for named Hijikata. And I was like, oh, man. Okay, cool, but I'm going to give everything I got. And I went with the darker Lord voice. Very hostile, very angry. I didn't hear anything, so I figured I would cast. And my friend Mike McRae did an amazing job. use you in this one, but I've got another character. And I figured it was a big part. And he called me and said, yeah, I've got this really cool samurai character that I want you to play. He's one of the Shinsengumi. He's one of the lieutenants. And I went, what? He said, yeah, it's a character named Yamanami. I went, are you kidding me? So the fact that I got to play that character, and even though you don't see that end of his life, really meant a lot to me. Because that character has a very important place both in history and literature. So, another question. Yes.
Another one. Basically, we've seen that Crunchyroll can be successful with streaming anime. Do you think another company could be successful with like manga, A4, or do you think that's too far?
I'm not sure. I think my brother would be the better person to ask that question. He's done a lot more research into that. I'm very excited to see that model is actually starting to work. The only problem I have with that, and yes, I've certainly watched stuff right now, is that that company made its living on pirating and actually was one of the things that was hurting the industry for so long. And now all of a sudden they're legitimate and they've got a model that works and stuff. They had to get legitimate because they got in bed with some of the banks. And I have really mixed feelings about the fact that they did so much to hurt the industry and were very adamant, well, we don't care, what doesn't matter. For so long, that was the attitude, and now all of a sudden, all kinds of studios are, certainly Seraphim or Section 23 has put stuff up on there, and Funimation has had stuff up. It's a very bitter pill to swallow. I'm glad that there's a model that is working. I'm so glad that there's a model. I hope that more companies and stuff will find a way to do that. A lot of times it's a problem of negotiation with Japanese, a lot of things. I don't know. As for something with manga, I don't know. I would love to see something like that happen. Certainly a shot there in the manga industry. I wish I had an extra note. I'm not that smart. I just have a paper note. It makes me I wear glasses. That makes me seem smart. Another question. Back there. My favorite historical character. Actual history. Oh, gosh, there's so many. You never got that question. That's beautiful. Wow. There are so many. There's so many people that I could name. A favorite? And can I go with a favorite? Let's see.
All of them.
Yeah, I can't go. It's very easy to go. It's very easy to go. On Gandhi or Martin Luther King or Jesus Christ or a Buddha or a Mother Teresa. There's so many people that that give so much of themselves to the world that and have inspired so many people. Oh gosh, I don't know. And it bothers me so much that I don't know. I think probably one of the people I would most like to meet would have been Dr. Martin Luther King. Having been raised in the 60s in the South, and all that was just prior to my being aware of things, everything that the whole 60s, moved to 1965. So I look back on stuff like that. I would certainly, and here's the opposite side of that. I would also very much like to have met any of the Chicago 7. So I don't know. There's so many people. I can give you a list that would go on forever. Certainly, absolutely, Dario Argento, the Italian horror filmmaker. Would love to meet him. He's so cool. Or George Romero. Yes, George Romero too. He's got a new zombie movie coming out soon. So excited. Survival of the Dead. Yes. No, I'm sorry. Another question. I'm babbling now. Yes, back there.